Hey, boss of YouTube, aka what's up YouTube, happy y'all today, week number 2 of the CGT. Timestamp should be somewhere in the description or on the video if you guys want to jump right into the battle itself. Right now we're going to be talking about our matchup and why I'm bringing what I'm bringing. I just want to say thank you all so much for the amazing support on our week 1 match. I love you guys. Thank you so much for the warm welcome back. And if you didn't see our week 1 match, I'm a spoiler right now, we were able to win, which is amazing because I don't remember the last time I won a week 1 battle. So the fact that we're off to a good start in the season already makes me pretty happy, and hopefully that's a good omen because we are facing Jack, aka Gravy, coach of the Vancouver Titans, and we played him before in APA lower tier where unfortunately he beat us. So I am looking for a little bit of a revenge here going into this game. So definitely check him out. Channel link and stuff will be down below. He's one of the very few draft league players nowadays that I do watch, but his content is very enjoyable, and he definitely know what he's doing and what he's talking about, even when he doesn't always entirely prep too well, which is what I'm hoping for going into this game. Maybe he'll overlook something and we can hopefully take advantage of that. So, of course, shout out to my front office homies, Skyhorse, Tone, Shuckle King, Harris, and Electric, I believe, were the main ones that helped us out this week. So going into this matchup, Gray has a terrifying team. This team is super threatening because, as y'all know and as you can see, we do not have a fairy type. So Noivern potentially being Specs is my biggest fear in this battle. At the same time though, even if it's just heavy duty boots, Roost 3 attacks, that's going to be very, very annoying to deal with. Mew is absurdly terrifying because I literally do not know what it's going to do. In his week 1 match, he brought a bulky variant of Mew against the homie Shuckle King. But in this matchup, I did a mock, and setup is actually really scary. I don't know if it'll be like Nasty Plot Agility, maybe Dragon Dance, maybe Calm Mind, Cosmic Power. I don't know. Setup is something that I'm mainly concerned about, and I genuinely cannot prepare correctly for any and every set that Mew could bring. So I'm really scared of that. Urshifu makes a lot of sense to come to this game because even if it's like a bulky variant, it deals with my Cinderace. Sorry, Adobe has been acting up lately. So yeah, that could be really annoying. Vanillux is absurdly free because we are a little bit ice weak, so I'm really scared of that. Greedent, I 100% expect to come to this game. My front office was like, there's no way Greedent is coming. I'm like, it's Jack. I promise you. He's going to bring Greedent. Plus, his only ghost resist / immunities are Greedent and Absol. I doubt Absol comes, and Greedent still has a decent enough matchup, so that makes a lot of sense. Volcarona and Electivire along with Absol, those 3 are probably the 3 mons I don't expect to come to this game. Ferrothorn seems really nice just because it has a good matchup against a good majority of our team besides Cinderace and potentially Heat Wave Zapdos. And then Galar is something I'm a little bit on the fence about if he wants to bring or not. Like, that offensively is really problematic in the mock that I had. I didn't fully expect it, and it was a giant issue. So if he does bring Golurk, I got to be very careful with that. But initially, the top 6, along with Golurk or Greedent, those 8 are probably the main mons that I'm expecting going into this game. I fully expect Noivern and Vanillux just because we don't really have the best resist or immunity to those. There's no way he's not bringing Mew. Ferrothorn and Weezing are just really good defensively, and then along with Noivern, Urshifu can help check Cinderace, which Cinderace has a phenomenal matchup in this game. But first and foremost, as y'all can see, we have max, well, almost max special attack, spell tag, Aegislash, because if Greedent is gone, and again, I don't expect the Absol to come, I just click Shadow Ball for free. That, or I click Shadow Ball into Shadow Sneak for free, and this basically just mercs everything. The speed is for Weezing, running a little bit of speed, and then we have 28 in our physical attack because it does like 2 or 3% more. And I didn't want to go on minus speed nature because if it comes down to it, I do want to outspeed Weezing, which I don't think is going to be running too much Spadef. So after rocks, we could have a chance to one-shot it with Flash Cannon, which would be amazing. And then the last 20 are just in Spadef to take hits on the special side a little bit easier. Mainly, potentially a +2 Fire Blast from Mew, depending on what item and how much special attack investment he has. Next off, we have Choice Banded Cinderace. Look at Cinderace. Look at his team. If it's not Fat Noivern or Fat Urshifu, Pyro Ball plus Flare Blitz are absurdly free in this game, and whatever I don't obliterate with Pyro Ball or Flare Blitz, I can then Zen Headbutt, and then we have U-Turn for momentum. Enough speed for the Urshifu, no, for the Mew, sorry, yeah, enough speed for the Mew. I could have gone Adamant, but Adamant to Jolly didn't change any type of important roles, so I really wasn't too concerned about that. And I figured with Jolly we have a little bit of bulk in case he is Aqua Jet Urshifu, then maybe we can tank one, so that would be nice. Next off we have Kieran aka Zapdos running a nice physically defensive set here. I was really struggling on what 4 moves to put on Zapdos. I really wish I could have 5 moves because having Discharge as an option would be amazing here, but ultimately Harris suggested that probably having a Hurricane over something would be better, because again, Galar in my mock was a giant problem, and Galar was definitely something I overlooked. So Hurricane does have a good chance to potentially 2 KO Galar, depending on whether it's like super bulky or if it's just purely offensive. If it's purely offensive, we can 2 KO. If it's very bulky on the Spadef side or potentially Assault Vest, then we're not doing as much damage, and then from there it just depends how much his attack investment is and how I'm gonna handle it. So yeah, Heat Wave plus Hurricane still hits everything really hard. Heat Wave is literally only there for the Ferrothorn. I think I originally had enough speed for Vanillix, but I figured that it could be Scarf maybe Vanillix, so it's probably not worth it. Plus with this Fizz Def investment, we can tank 2 max attack Adamant Poltergeist, if I'm not mistaken, from the Galar, so that's going to be really nice. Next off, we have Kaido rocking a Spadef set here, suggested by the homie Skyhorse. This is not only an amazing check to the, what's it called, the Volcarona, but it is a giant nuisance for him to potentially deal with as well. Flamethrower hits Ferrothorn, Fire Blast over Flamethrower only really matters if he's Akaberry Ferrothorn, so that I'm not too concerned about. Dual Wing Beat hits everything that Flamethrower otherwise wouldn't. And then Heal Bell is still something I was very iffy of running on Dragonite, but it does make sense because he could potentially be like Thunder Wave Ferrothorn or Toxic, or he could just be Will-O-Wisp Weezing as well, which would be a little bit annoying. I don't really need any type of speed on Dragonite going into this game, so I figured that having minus speed was not the worst thing ever, honestly. So yeah, this is only really here for Volcarona. If I don't see Volcarona, because we are special defensive, we can take hits better from the Noivern and the Galar Weezing if it really comes down to it. And I want to say, I'm like 99% sure that we do live 1 Scarf Blizzard from Vanillux with multi-scale. So then Flamethrower, while 1 Okoit, can either pick it off or do a whole lot of damage, which I am perfectly fine with. If it's Specs, we just get blown back, like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But if it's Scarfed, and I know it's Scarfed, or even if it's not Scarfed, if it's just like, I guess, Light Clay with Aurora Veil, then we can tank a hit with multi-scale, potentially knock it out, and that would be really nice. Next up, we have Slowking. I basically need Slowking in this game for the Urshifu. So yeah, we are rocking a mixed defensive set here. Bold Nature over Calm Nature doesn't necessarily change any important role, so I figured with the Spadef, this means that we can take hits from Vanillix and Noivern a little bit better, which would be amazing, and I guess Volcarona, but I mean, I figure he's going to Bug Buzz me anyways. And again, I really don't expect the Volcarona. Like, we have a Nihilego, which alone already deals with it, so yeah, I'm not really too concerned about Volcarona, so it's mainly just there for Noivern and the Vanillix. So even though we don't have a fire move to hit Ferrothorn, the rest of our team, besides this and our last mon, have a fire move. So even then, as long as I don't play stupidly around Ferrothorn, we should be good with not having a fire move here on Slowking. A Thunder Wave is amazing because this is my main way of trying to deal with the Mew. Depending on what set Mew is will determine on how I can deal with it. If it's just purely set up, Thunder Waving that would be amazing. If it's sub, that's a little bit scary, I'm not gonna lie. But hopefully it's not sub, and then we can just kind of go from there. And then Dual Stab hits everything neutrally or super effectively, which is great. And then our final team member is going to be Assault Vest Nihilego here. I think I originally was max Spadef, max HP, but I don't need to have that much HP. Sorry, I don't need to have that much Spadef investment. So the nice thing about this spread is that I believe we do outspeed Urshifu. I know we outspeed Vanillux. I want to say we outspeed Urshifu if it's not max speed. Which again, it could be a more of a fat Urshifu, just because Bandit or even Bulk Up Cinderace, which we brought Bulk Up Cinderace week 1, so he could expect that again. either Cinderace set puts in a lot of work here. So yeah, I know the speed was definitely for Vanillux, and I think I might have just been creeping a little bit of speed creep outside of Vanillux. So depending on if Urshifu is max speed or not, then we outspeed that as well. But 4 attacks, Assault Vest is really nice in this game. Again, we can't touch Ferrothorn, but just knocking that off is still going to be really nice. Sludge Bomb is more or less really free in this game if he doesn't have Ferrothorn, or if we are able to get rid of it. Grass Knot is purely there for the Galar, just because it hits it extremely hard. We don't OHKO it, but we do a good amount of damage. And then Power Gem is there for the Volcarona. So yeah, even if Volcarona has Psychic, we're still going to be able to eat even a +2 Psychic and then just obliterate it with Power Gem. So yeah, that is going to be our squad here for week number 2. And with that being said, let's jump into the battle. Okay, pause YouTube. So, I'm dumb. And apparently my audio got really messed up for this video. If I remember, I had a little clip. It sounded all squeaky. I don't know why. Like, I'm guessing my mic at this point is starting to mess up. On top of my PC also really messing up. So, let me turn this down. Okay, so I apologize. This week 2 match will be post-commentated. Week 3 will be live commentated though, I promise. I played that earlier today, checked the audio immediately right after going to go edit this. I was like, oh, I'll put this in Adobe, edit it, and it'll be fine. No, audio's messed up. So yeah, apologize about that. But if you guys are excited for this game, we are taking on Jack, aka Gravy, one of the commissioners for the Champions of Galar tournament. This is week number 2. If you missed our week 1 battle, and then I'm about to spoil it. I'm about to spoil it for y'all. We were able to win. We got a little bit unlucky with certain things, and luckily in the end, we were still able to pull out the victory. And here we are, 1-0 for week number 2. So hopefully we can go 2-0 here. Definitely check out Gray's side of the video. He always does live comm, so if you guys want to see a live comm version of this game, then check his side out. Again, apologize, audio messed up on my end. So I did go over why I'm bringing what I am bringing at the beginning of this video. If you guys skip to this. So looking at the matchup here, I knew for a fact he was gonna bring Greedent. Even my front office peeps were like, "Are you sure he's gonna bring Greedent?" I'm like, "Yes, it's Jack. He is obsessed with Greedent. He loves it, and it's his only real switch into Aegislash." So I was like, that thing is definitely coming. So not surprised to see Greedent here. No Ferrothorn was a little bit surprising. I think besides no Ferrothorn, everything pretty much came that I was expecting. Galar is very terrifying depending on the set. Noivern offensively is also scary. Mew, depending on the set, is very scary as well. And then Urshifu, I don't think is going to be choiced, so it could be pads or maybe a setup variant. And then Galar Weezing made a lot of sense because Galar Weezing was his best switch in to a Krookodile, which otherwise kind of murked him. Looking at potential leads, I figured that Slowking would probably be my best lead. So that is what we are going to be leading off with here, just because I figured that as long as he doesn't lead with the Galar, we should be a-okay against everything, and then I can Scald, maybe go for Teleport, or even fire off a Thunder Wave. Unfortunately though, he immediately leads with the Galar. So my biggest fear is that, oh man, this is gonna be Band-Aid, and I'm just gonna lose something immediately. So I was very scared to switch into my Zapdos here. I'll say apologize, no face cam, just because again my PC's really been messing up, and even though this is sped up, you guys might still notice some lag. So from that damage, he luckily was not choice banded. My next fear was maybe he's Assault Vested, because in a mock, my boy Shuckle had Assault Vest Golurk, so I figured that if it is Assault Vest, we're gonna find out here. Hopefully he's no guard, so I don't have to risk missing Hurricane here. So I go for it. We do about 49-50%, which is amazing as he hits us with the Stone Edge. And this turn I was really debating, okay, do I want to go for Roost or do I want to go for Hurricane? I figured that because Golurk is such a offensive menace, and from that roll there is a chance I could knock him out with the Stone Edge. I mean, not the Stone Edge, sorry, with the Hurricane. I think it's worth going for, because there's a possibility that he'll either go for Rocks or predict me to Roost and go for Earthquake. And I figured, well, if I'm just aggressive here and if I do knock him out, then that's great. As I end up getting the crit here, I don't know his spread, so maybe that might have mattered, maybe it didn't, maybe it would have depended on a roll. But yeah, we are able to get rid of the Golurk immediately, which is amazing, because that was definitely one of the scariest offensive mons that he had. Mew setup wise is terrifying, not offensively though. Golurk could have just come in, click Poltergeist, and just did a lot of damage to our squad. So we are up early 6-5, which is amazing because I can still keep Zapdos around to potentially be a problem to him, as he ends up going into the Noivern, finds out that we are heavy duty boots, which is fine. I figured that, you know what, I still have use for Zapdos later. If anything, I can use it as death fodder, and I do have Assault Vest and Heligo literally just for Noivern, because I was really terrified of it being potentially a choice specs variant, because we do not have a fairy type. So if it was specs, it could just Draco, and that would be very problematic to deal with, as Flamethrower does nothing to us, which is amazing. So here I figure that he most likely is not going to stay in. So I can either go for knockoff, or I can go for Sludge Bomb, just trying to fish. I was a little concerned that maybe he would go directly into Mew, which is why I figured, you know, if I Sludge Bomb, then I can maybe get a poison on it, which would be amazing. Then that way it's a little bit less of an issue to deal with, as he actually switches directly into the Greedent, and we get a poison on that, which you would think is very lucky for us, but you're going to see that this kind of comes back to bite us later in this game here. So getting that damage off on Greedent is amazing, because if he's not rest, then he most definitely is going to be Cheek Pouch, but then we can get him closer into range of popping his berry and getting rid of his Cheek Pouch ability. I don't think Greedent learns Recycle, correct me if I'm wrong, so that was never something that crossed my mind. I figured that maybe it would be Rest Talk, as he ends up going for the Earthquake. And now that this thing is weakened and its berry is popped, once this is gone, in comes my Aegislash, and I just click Shadow Ball for free. We are max special attack spell tag on Aegislash, if I'm not mistaken. So once Greedent is gone, or even if I am just able to catch it with a close combat, then Aegislash basically goes in, which is amazing. So that's kind of my game plan right now, is hoping that we get rid of this Greedent, and then Aegislash comes in, as he reveals to have the Swords Dance. First of all, I didn't even know that Greedent can learn Swords Dance, so that was my fault. Like, I knew it got Belly Drum, but I didn't know it got Swords Dance, so that was very scary to deal with, because here I am a little bit concerned, because I don't think I have anything on my squad that can one-shot this, and I don't have high jump kick on my Cinderace, and I do have to be very careful with Cinderace, because I don't want to lock myself into something like Zen Headbutt and then potentially give Mew a free chance to come in. So here I'm trying to debate on what I should bring in first, and I figured, you know what, I might not be able to roost with Zapdos later. Again, the sooner Greedent is gone, the better it is for my Aegislash. So by bringing in Zapdos here, I can go for Heat Wave. Heat Wave after the poison damage will guarantee put this Greedent in range of where I can revenge kill it with my banded Cinderace. So Greedent might get a KO here on Zapdos, but getting rid of this thing is going to be amazing. So Heat Wave does nothing really. I could have gone for Hurricane there, but if I missed Hurricane, then I don't think after just a round of poison it would have been in range of my Cinderace, or it would have been a roll, and it's not a roll that I remember liking. So I figured we're going to go for the guaranteed damage with Heat Wave, well, 90% of the time guaranteed, and luckily we didn't miss, which is great, as he turns out to have the Facade, which is why this poison is a little bit bad, but it still is helpful to us. And I was trying to figure out on whether or not I wanted to risk Power Ball here, and I figured that it's probably just better for me to go for the Flare Blitz to guarantee the damage, as he makes a good switch here into the Noivern, finds out that we are Choice Banded, so this does a good chunk of damage to the Noivern. I was definitely not in a position of where I could have afforded to risk going for U-turn there. As much as I wanted to, that thing at +2 was a giant problem, and again, the sooner Greedent is gone, the better. So Flare Blitz does a good chunk to this Noivern, as I'm going to be forced to switch out, because there's no way I'm going to two-shot him at this point, and because I think he wasn't max special attack from the damage that he did to my Nihilego, then I can bring a Noivern here, eat a hit, and then teleport, as he actually goes for U-turn, which is amazing, because I think because of that U-turn damage, or the Rocky Helmet damage, he's actually in range of where another Flare Blitz from my Cinderace will be able to knock him out. So it's really good for us, as he decides to bring back in the Greedent. At this point, I'm just going to stay in here, I think, and I do decide to go for the Psychic, as it actually turns out that we are going to be faster than him. I did not realize that Greedent, I think, was only base 20 speed, so that's really good. We are definitely going to take whatever he wants to go for, as he's going to knock himself out to the Rocky Helmet and the Poison, which is nice, because now Aegislash comes in, clicks a button, and things are going to just drop. So the only issue with this is that now my Slowking is really low, because this was my main answer to the Urshifu, so I got to be very careful with how I play the Slowking. I definitely want to try and pivot in and out so I can get back more HP with my regen, and then that way I don't have to worry too much about the Urshifu later in this match. So I figured that he most likely is going to want to go for U-turn here, because outside of that, I don't think there's anything that this could do to my Slowking. So I make the hard switch right into my Edge Slash here, and much like earlier, Greedent is gone. I max special attack with Spell Tag. Shadow Ball is going to damage something very, very badly if it comes down to it. As he brings in the Noivern, I am fine with this as he finds out that we have the Spell Tag. I eat anything he wants to go for. A Shadow Ball into Shadow Sneak is going to be doing a ridiculous amount of damage. I think depending on the bulk, it is potentially a 2-hit KO. So he decides to go for the Roost, which, you know what, I am perfectly fine with because we're still going to be doing a good amount to this and hopefully putting it in range of where Shadow Sneak will knock it out. As we do go for the Shadow Ball being max special attack, it does a ridiculous amount, which is amazing because now Shadow Sneak will definitely knock him out, and I'm hoping he doesn't expect me to have the Shadow Sneak, seeing how much damage that Shadow Ball did to him. So I'm hoping he will just leave in Noivern, thinking that maybe he can go for Flamethrower or that he can try to go for the Roost, or even if he switches out, I guess that's not really the worst thing ever. As down goes the Noivern, which means his switching to Cinderace is also gone, which means both Cinderace and Aegislash right now are in positions to be able to do a lot of damage, hopefully. So in comes the Urshifu, and even though we are up 5-3, I'm still very terrified of that Mew in the background because I don't know what set it is. He hasn't brought it out. I haven't got any information on it, and if it's set up, depending on what type of setup it is, then it could potentially win him the game. So I don't want to get too ahead of myself here in this situation. So I switched directly into my Slowking, thinking worst comes to worst, he'll just go for U-turn and we can chip him down with the Rocky Hammer, right? No, turns out that he's Protective Pads, which is really, really annoying, but it's not the worst thing ever. So here I kind of, I don't know, like, I really should have gone for Thunder Wave. I don't want to say this was entirely a horrible play, but now that I look back at it, if I had just gone for Thunder Wave, like even if he brought in Mew, paralyzing that is still good, and there's no way he's going to switch into Weezing. So in hindsight, I definitely should have gone for Thunder Wave here. Teleport was probably not the correct play that I should have made, but I figured that, well, if he switches out into Mew, then I can just teleport out and gain momentum from there, when in hindsight, if my main way of dealing with me with Slowking was the Thunder Wave was pretty free here. So yeah, I regret this play here because you're going to see Urshifu is a little bit of a problem because, again, my best switch into this Urshifu was my Slowking, and it just switched out on it. So here, much like the predicament earlier with the Greedent, I'm trying to figure out how to deal with this thing. I don't have anything that's going to quite one-shot it, and I don't want my Aegislash to take any unnecessary damage, and I really don't want to lock myself into Zen Headbutt with my Cinderace. So I figured, you know what? I can tank an Aqua Jet if it really comes down to it with my Nihilego. At this point, I don't really need a Nihilego. Like, Noivern is gone, and it was really only here for the Noivern. I'm not really too concerned about the Galar Weezing or the Mew, and it's not like I could do much damage to the Mew with my Nihilego anyway, so I figured I can bring this in, go for Sludge Bomb, and do some damage, or go for Grass Knot. I think Sludge Bomb does more than Grass Knot did in the long run, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't see which one I clicked there, but either one, I'm going to be able to either outspeed him because we know he's not Scarfed, or I'm going to be able to tank an Aqua Jet just because it's not the strongest move. And even though the Nihilego has like base 2 physical defense, we should still be able to tank an Aqua Jet if the calcs were correct. So Sludge Bomb does a solid 51%, which is amazing because now it's going to be a lot easier for me to revenge kill this as he obliterates us with the Surging Strikes. I will be able to bring in Slowking here, and much like earlier, I'm in a predicament of, well, do I want to go for the offensive move or do I want to go for Thunder Wave? And then this time I make the incorrect play again and I go for Psychic. I should have just Thunder Waved. I really don't, I don't know, maybe I was thinking of something else totally different. I don't know. Thunder Waving though definitely would have been better. So yeah, you can see there that I'm like, oh, I should have Thunder Waved, or this is where I should have gone for Teleport, and then yeah, things might have been a little bit better. There was really no reason for me to go for Scald, and yeah, it was just between Psychic or Thunder Wave, and I should have. I mean, not sorry, it was between either going for Thunder Wave or going for Teleport, and unfortunately I go for Psychic, and much like earlier, that was not the correct play that I should have made. So here I'm a little bit scared that maybe he could be sub, but I'm hoping that he's not, and luckily he is not, as he turns out to be Dragon Dance, which is actually a little bit scary because if he's Lumberry, then he can get rid of the paralysis, Dragon Dance again, and then that's a whole nother issue. So yeah, here I'm panicking. Luckily, he is not Lumberry, and now he's paralyzed, which is amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and teleport here, because even if he gets to +2, it shouldn't be that big of an issue. We should be okay to still deal with it. And if I do teleport out of here into my Aegislash, then even at +1, if he's adamant, I should be able to tank any hit that he has. But he turns out to have the Poltergeist, which I was not expecting. That had me a little bit worried, because after I checked the calc, I think adamant max attack +1 had a very, very, very slight chance to knock out my Aegislash. I think it was like a 20-ish% chance to knock out Aegislash at the amount of HP that I was at. So if he doesn't get paralyzed, he hits the move and he gets the roll, then the match is unfortunately over. And this is what I meant by earlier. Like, even though, yeah, we were up 5-3, Mew, depending on the set, was still very problematic, it being Dragon Dance. Luckily, not being Lumberry makes it a little bit easier to deal with. So here, I gotta just hope that he either gets paralyzed, he misses, or he doesn't get the roll. As long as one of those three things happen, then Shadow Ball should knock him out if he's not a Ghost Weakening Berry. And then from there, we should be good. This is where I kind of wish I had King Shield, but it is what it is. As he does go for the Poltergeist, we live on 16, and we're going to be able to blow him all the way back with Shadow Ball here, which is amazing. He does not turn out to be the Ghost Weakening Berry. So now we only got to deal with the Urshifu and the Weezing. At this point, he still has a chance to win, and I figured that between Cinderace and Dragonite, we should have the better chance to win. So even though he's managed to almost even the playing field, we are still in a really good position, and unfortunately I will have to lose my Aegislash here because we do not have the King Shield. And I mean, even if I had King Shield, I don't think it really would have mattered too much here, as he knocks us out with the Aqua Jet. This is fine, so I can bring in my Cinderace here. We easily live an Aqua Jet. Adamant Max Attack Aqua Jet does not ever knock us out without a crit, and then Zen Headbutt obliterates Urshifu, and then I can also do a lot of damage to the Weezing with Zen Headbutt, and then Dragonite should be able to two-shot it at 50%, because Flamethrower did 26% if I'm not mistaken, but he gets a crit. A crit when he absolutely needed it, which was really upsetting. I'm not gonna lie. It sucked, but it's not actually that bad, because looking at the timer, I have more time than him. So as long as I can knock out Urshifu here, my Dragonite in theory should be able to still beat Galar Weezing 1v1, and if worse comes to worse, then it just comes down to me having to timer stall him, which I know is not the best way of winning a game, but if it's a win condition at this point, it's a win condition. So I figured that, alright, I can bring in Dragonite, all I gotta do is just roost a few times, stall out the timer, and then I just am gonna spam Flamethrower as it goes for the Strange Steam. Does a good amount of damage, and it's not really too big of an issue because this next one, this next roost, will put me in multi-scale range, so then that Strange Steam isn't going to be doing as much damage. And he is able to connect here, and then he gets to Confusion, which is only a 20% chance to confuse. And then for some reason, I thought, oh wait, I can Heal Bell here, and that would get rid of my Confusion. No, that is not the case, as he goes for another Strange Steam. I guess I could have gone for Roost there over the Heal Bell, and I definitely should have gone for Roost. So still confused. Don't hit ourselves, thankfully. So Kaido pulling in through so far. Dragonite being max with def is really coming in clutch right now. And again, if it comes down to timer stalling, we should be good. So he crits us with that Strange Steam, but it's fine because we are able to snap out of Confusion. So I will be able to go for the Roost here, keeping Dragonite at a really good amount of HP, as he is still connecting all these Strange Steams, crits, and then Confusions. Yeah, this is looking really, really bad, as I am able to break through, so we're still in this. There is a chance that maybe he'll miss the Strange Steam. I think it's like 95% accurate, as he hits another one. So again, hoping that we snap out here, and I can go for Roost, and unfortunately, no, we hit ourselves in Confusion, and we lose week 2 here due to some unfortunate luck there at the end. So yeah, that was, man, that really sucked. I'm not gonna lie. We definitely had that one, I think. Again, if anything, it just came down to timer stalling, and that is just how Pokemon goes sometimes. So it does suck that we got really unlucky here. We should be 2-0, but now we're 1-1 going into week 3. So a little bit pressured for our week 3 match, and hopefully we can get the dub next week. So yeah, check out Gray Guys. Comment question of the day is on your screen. 30 likes is our goal. And with that being said, again, I apologize that this was post-com, but my audio messed up, and I'm definitely going to try and keep a better eye on that for the rest of the season. So with that being said, I will see you all next week. Thank you all for watching. Later, everybody.